What's going on, guys? We are back again with the Opel, and if you guys saw in the last video, we did some of this repair here and also this one in the last couple videos. Got the bottom all cleaned up. So today we are working on this rocker panel here. You can see my rough outline here. All this stuff here is all solid, so we're gonna keep that. Got nice factory spot welds and notch and everything. So I've got my template made already, which our poster board wasn't quite long enough, so I'm gonna have to add to each end here. But as you can see, I've got it to where it's gonna go right up to the top of the rocker. And then on this, we're gonna add about 1.5 inches, and we're gonna use this little flare tool we have, or flange tool, and add that. That way, once it's laid down, this little edge right here is gonna be right where this line is, and then when we remake the fender, it's gonna lay right on top of it, so there's a nice seam there. So, oh, there goes my template. So we're just gonna go ahead and make some metal and get started on repairing that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and flange this side. That way I can measure and cut this end off, because I went ahead and cut it long just so I could fit the piece up on the car, and just like this. So once I flange it and know exactly where it's gonna end at, then I'll mark and cut the end of this. And then I'll start making the radius part, and then the piece for the flange right here. Got my piece all made up for the most part. I might have to tweak it a little bit, but I have to grind that weld and get all this crap out of the way first. And then I'll probably trace my piece, the exact shape of my piece, onto here and start cutting all the bad out to start fitting it. So sadly, there's the inner. I didn't even know, I couldn't tell until I cut that out just now, but it's actually rotten all the way in there. I thought it was just this layer right here and then the outside, but there's that piece in there too. So I've got to cut all this out and try and remake a piece for that as well and get rid of the rust. Sadly, when you got a car this bad, you start cutting, you find more stuff, you cut more, you find more. So just something that we got to do. Well, we are definitely at a standstill. I cut the fender out, the fender panel right there, exposed the A-pillar that's rotten, along with like everything else, obviously. So we are going to stop for the day. It's Friday, and this is just, we don't know exactly what our approach is right now, so you guys get a good look of how terrible this is. And remember how this looks, because we're gonna fix it. So, kinda sucks, but it's part of it. Got my flange made and all my holes drilled for my spot welds. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and seam it around the edges. And she'll be all good. Then we'll just have to do the floor pan and go back and spot weld the bottom flange, and she'll be in there. So here you guys go. See, I got it all welded in. I spotted where the support is. Gonna wait till I repair the floor pan from the inside to spot weld this. I might have to bang this down a little bit to get it more butted up against it. But now it's time to grind it all down and make it smooth. Alright guys, there we have it. all besides obviously this bottom row of spot welds are on. Didn't turn out too bad. And keep in mind there's gonna be like, you know, body work and multiple layers of primer on this, so it's not extra perfect right now, but for the most part the body line lines up. And I got the spot welds all ground down, and then the seam as well. So that is the outer repair finished. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. All right, it's been quite a few, maybe a couple months since the last clip you guys just saw. So I went ahead and I don't think I showed making this support right here for this side, which is what you guys just saw. We actually flipped it back over so that I could do this side. So I went ahead and continued the skirt or the rocker right here because it was only bad in this area. So I went ahead and cut the fender off, and there's still some addressing that we're gonna do once we level this thing out. But right now we're actually onto the inside of the floor pan where you guys saw the holes showing through. So as you can see, we've got a rough mark out of about where we want to cut at. And then I've got my piece cut here. So we're actually about to mark all these so that we can bead roll these grooves into this piece. And then once we get that going, we'll you know, get this part cut out. And what we're gonna do is actually make our piece first, and we're gonna make it a little bit big. That way, you know, we know we're putting good metal into it. So once we get it fitted up, we're gonna cut or trace around the new piece, and then that's when we're gonna cut out all the old, and then we'll be ready to weld it in and everything like that. So that's where we're at for now. We're just gonna take care of all this crap in one big piece so we know it's all good. So you guys can see how long the piece is here. So whenever you're bead rolling, at least in our bead roller, we only have this much for metal to overhang because you have to feed it through here. So since it's too long, we went ahead and cut it down so that we could fit this piece where all the bead rolls are. We went ahead and cut it down so we could fit it in the bead roller, and we've got a lot nicer of bead rolls now. And then if you look in here, you can see right at the bottom there where it's rotted out, it's got a little bit of a radius. So we clamped it to this table that's got a round edge here, and I just used the hammer to give it a slight little bend. And I'm gonna probably go ahead and try and fit it up and see if this matches, and if I need to go any more, I'll just reclamp it. Also, Ryan has his piece here made for this guy up here. He's just almost finished cutting that out. And as you can see, there's one bead roll there, and he's got it already in there nice and clean. So he's just gonna cut that out, and it's gonna be the same. He's just gonna weld it in, and we'll be all patched up. It's not perfectly in place, as you can see. It's just kind of sitting in there. But I got the old piece cut out and the new piece somewhat in place. So I'm getting ready to start welding it. As you guys can see, we've got the inner floor pieces in. Welded in. I ground it all down so it kind of looks like it follows the old floor pan. There's still a patch I got to do on the inside there, so there's a couple spot welds that I didn't get to yet. But I got the rocker spot welded in, all ground smooth. Alright, as you guys can see, here's the inside. As you can tell, two terrible welds. That's what happens when you're welding to 40-some-year-old metal. But anyway, here's another piece that I just cut out and made. So I'm getting ready to weld this thing in, and we'll be good to go. There is some rottage right here. So you can see those holes. So actually, this piece that Ryan's about to make is spot welded over the top of this bottom floor piece. So he's drilling out those spot welds. You can see the flange side, or like what it lays on top of. So that's separated. So then he'll just cut this piece out and have to attach it on the inside. It'll just lay over the top of this, but on the inside.
And then we'll drill holes through the outside here and use those as spot welds.
Yep, re-spot weld it. And I've got this redone and all smooth. So the whole rocker's attached up to where it meets up with the fender. And as you can see, I've smoothed out all these welds in here for the most part. I still have to do this one, but then that other piece that I was telling you guys about, I've got made up right here. So I'm getting ready to weld that in. I'm probably gonna go ahead and end this video here. So we did, I mean, I pretty much showed you everything we've done already. All this still needs to be ground down and such. There ended up being a couple little holes that we had to fill. But as you can see, that's all patched now. So yeah, the inside, the floor pan, everything's patched up, and we'll be ready to go ahead and lay it down flat, and we'll be starting on the outside. So stay tuned for that. Bunch more metal and welding work to be done. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.